710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can also watch on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. So far, a wonderful morning. Lots of fantastic humidity. And it's truly beautiful as we have the sun rising and the sun's rays reflecting off the various clouds. Coming up this half hour, we'll have a few comments from Alabama Governor Kate Ivory, who attended the National Governors Association summer meeting, and NBC News national correspondent Joe Gomez interviewed Kate Ivory briefly. That is in and of itself, the contrast between those two personalities is a wonderful thing. So we'll get to that coming up in just a few minutes right after the traffic and the weather. Before we get there, though, let me go into the email inbox. I have a quick email from a listener. Subject line on the email is Neil Armstrong's bag. Email reads, Happy Monday to you, Henry. Did I hear correctly on the Fox News break that Neil Armstrong's bag that he used to collect moon rocks was being auctioned off and it could sell for over $1 million? I was just wondering if you still have any of those Uncle Henry sacks left over that you may want to auction off. What do you think you could fetch for one of those? Maybe a couple of $100? And that email from the Common Man. Common Man, thank you for bringing that up. The Uncle Henry Show sacks are always for sale. They're not for auction. They're always for sale at shirtbutter.com. The Neil Armstrong bag, I think it's considered valuable because it's got moon dust in it. If I haven't paid a lot of attention to the story, but I think that's why they're thinking it could sell for a lot of money. But I think it may have moon dust in it. You're going to have to hope that they didn't launder it. He brought moon rocks and moon dust back in the bag. You better hope that somebody at NASA, like the laundry man, didn't grab it and then throw it in the washing machine. But I guess somebody with a lot of money out there that wants a very nice bag will get Neil Armstrong's bag. Common Man, thank you for asking about that. That would be at least one economic benefit of going to the moon, is being able to auction off bags. When we come back from traffic and weather, we just have a brief look at traffic and weather, and then we'll hear a delightful conversation between NBC News Radio's Joe Gomez and Governor Kate Ivory of Alabama.
Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Audi Traffic Center.
We have a lot of road work dotting the board, including the ongoing work on eastbound Old Shell Road between Florida Street and Hobart. A work is expected to wrap up in the next couple of days. No big accidents or breakdowns right now. If you're traveling on I-10, coming in across the Bayway to and through the Wallace Tunnel and into downtown Mobile. A little bit wet, though, for some of you, as we do have some moderate rainfall through the area. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale, new and pre-owned. RVsunlimited.com.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Good Monday to you, everybody. It is going to be a soggy start to the work week. Our storm coverage today at 60%. If you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We'll top out today at 88 degrees. Lows will drop into the mid-70s. A few storms overnight. For your Tuesday, a high of 90 with a 50% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can also watch on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page live video. Over the weekend, governors from around the United States went to the National Governors Association gathering, and our own governor, Alabama's Kate Ivory, was there in Rhode Island, and young Joe Gomez, who calls the Uncle Henry Show almost every morning, young Joe Gomez of NBC News Radio, was there, and I want to share with you, here is Joe Gomez with Kate Ivory.
What have you learned, meeting other governors? You said it's your first time coming to one of these conferences. Any kind of tricks of the trade, I guess?
Well, we've had great discussions on several topics. One of those is the opioid crisis. And certainly that is a major problem in Alabama. And they gave us some good information about considering ways to curtail the number of prescriptions for opioids that are issued, and also finding a way to decrease the number of pills per prescription given. There's got to be a way that we can curtail the abuse of opioids. Certainly some are essential for real pain management that's properly needed, but it's way out of control now. So that was a good topic for all of us to get our hands around and do some serious planning to correct that problem.
Yeah, I understand it is a very serious epidemic in Alabama, and I know in Ohio, for instance, they've got real big problems. Can you talk a little bit about the opioid problem in Alabama? I mean, how bad is it?
It's real bad. We're in the top 2 or 3 bad situations. We've had 400 deaths, I'm told, in recent years, or last 2 or 3 years, and our Attorney General's on top of it as well as I am, and the National Guard and others. So we've got to all come together and find a real solution. The biggest thing is getting our citizens to recognize how dangerous the use of opioids are. I mean, why would you put something in your body that you know is so deadly? It's worse than heroin. So it's a serious situation that all consumers and citizens need to be aware of and help us by doing their fair share to use good judgment and not subject their own bodies to almost a poison.
Yeah.
So,
and on the topic of health, what do you think about the latest revision of the health care bill that's in the Senate? Have you had a chance to look at it yet?
Vice President Pence just described the Senate version, and certainly we all recognize that health care at the federal level as we know it now and at the state level under the present programs are unsustainable. They're not meeting the needs of the people. They're too costly, and we can't sustain them. So there has to be some reform. So reform is in the making, and the Senate's got a bill that they're considering, and Vice President Pence pointed out that one of the virtues of the Senate bill is the fact that it gives flexibility to the states. And health care is an individual situation need, and so it makes a whole lot of sense for states to have the flexibility along with the resources to provide for what works for their people, for access, to take care of the disabled, the needy, the children, the disadvantaged, etc. But at the same time, we need to be freed up from overburdensome regulations. So if states have the flexibility and we're given some of the resources to meet these needs, it'll be difficult. But as all governors have always wanted, we've all wanted to have more input and more say-so over how our programs are run. And so this bill has promises to do that. It'll be tough for us, each governor to administer, but it will be important that we, the people, do what's best for people in Alabama, and I think every governor feels that way.
Excellent pre-loved Harleys available for you. Maybe you want your first Harley.
And here we are on Facebook. Yes, back on Facebook. Good morning to those of you watching on Facebook. We will have more. Joe Gomez, in the next segment, there's just a little bit more of Joe Gomez where I think Kate Ivory confuses him because I believe she confuses him because she starts talking about being from L.A., Lower Alabama, and he doesn't understand the concept. So we'll get into that as we continue here. Ariel, please join me. We haven't talked since last hour where we talked about Ariel's terrific live video experience where she did, what was it called? Ariel, what is the name of that thing again you did?
Sister Code.
Sister Code.
Yeah.
I need to remember the code, the Sister Code that I did watch Friday night. Now, what else did you do over the weekend? Did you do anything exciting over the weekend?
It was sort of exciting. We went to the beach. I took my son to the beach for the first time. Unfortunately, we got caught.
Calm down.
Okay.
Slow down. First time?
The first time.
He's never been to the beach.
No. He's never been to the beach. Like the first year I wanted to take him, but I was like, okay, no, he's too little. And last year there was just so much going on during the summer. I didn't take him. So this year I was like, regardless of what happens, I'm taking him to the beach this year. Like, he has to go to the beach.
Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted. So now, tell us, did you make it?
Yeah, well, very behind schedule. We got caught in traffic. The nasty traffic that happened between the Bayway and exit 38, I believe, was where that big accident took place. We unfortunately got caught in that traffic. It took us an hour to get through from the Bayway to exit 38. Like, that's how heavy it was.
Well, but you still made it.
Again, in fact, we were supposed to be going to Destin. We only made it as far as Fort Walton because even when you got to Navarre, traffic was so heavy. By the time we just made it to Fort Walton in the heavy traffic, we were like, let's just get something to eat. And the restaurant we stopped at called Crab Trap happened to be on the beach, and we were like, let's just go to this beach. Forget Destin.
Okay.
We're just going to go to this beach.
So what did he think? Did he like it?
He liked it. He was not a fan of the water. The water was a little rough, but the sand, dirt for miles in his head. Dirt for miles. That was all him.
I can imagine that.
Alley.
Okay, that would be, especially after being in a car for so long.
Yeah, but unfortunately we only stayed for an hour because, traffic threw us so far behind. But it was a good trip. I'll take him back again.
And it's not just the Bayway, right? There was thick traffic even beyond the Bayway.
Right. Like once you got past exit 38, it was smooth sailing until we hit Navarre. And once we hit Navarre, it was like traffic was a nightmare all over again. From Navarre to Fort Walton, it was crazy. I don't know what was happening on that side of town, but traffic was crazy.
Just people want to go to the beach.
I guess so. But it was packed. Look, most people don't go to Navarre. It was packed for the first time I've ever seen in my whole life. And we go every summer.
Huh. Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I just had the one man Mo Brooks running for the Senate saying, "Don't go to the federal government for any road money." And he'll help us in Montgomery if we need to go to Montgomery. He'll go with us to ask for money.
Somebody needs to, because, like I said, traffic was, I can understand once you got across the Bayway because that accident, needed its attention. I get that. But just trying to get to the tunnel from I-10 East was ridiculous. And then all of those people who get in one lane and then try and quickly jump over because they want to try and, jump everybody and go ahead and get to the tunnel. Like, sis, patience, okay? Patience. Stay in this lane. Just stay over here. So annoying.
It's beyond annoying. Imagine if there's some kind of a medical situation.
Yeah.
You're in big trouble.
Because now you've blocked an entire lane, especially when nobody wants to let you in because you were a jerk. You should have just stayed at the back of the line where you were supposed to be. And I'm the type of person that won't let you over just because. What are you doing up here?
Okay. Thank you, Ariel. We'll have to talk more about that. in a future discussion. You wait in line. Well, look, we'll get into it later. Stand by.
Oh, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you so much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. What a wonderful day it is. All the moisture, humidity. We have news headlines coming up from Fox and from Local 15's Darwin. Before we get to that, I have just a few more minutes with Joe Gomez and the Alabama Governor Kate Ivory in Rhode Island for the National Governors Association summer meeting. And here, this conversation is a little, I find it interesting because Joe Gomez was trying to communicate with Kate Ivory, and I think he had trouble understanding her. She talked about being from L.A., and that did not compute in his Washington, D.C. mind. So here we go. Just a few final moments with young Joe Gomez and Alabama Governor Kate Ivory.
All right. Well, what else would you like to share with us about Alabama in particular? Anything that you really think that people should know?
One of the subjects we talked about here this week was the computer coding program. And just Wednesday before I came out here, we in Alabama started a program with Alabama's community college system in partnership with Apple to train not only two-year college students, but high school students who participate in dual enrollment, and also regular, ordinary adults who just want to learn how to do coding, because you need to know how to do coding if you want to develop apps. And developing apps, we've got 4,700 positions in Alabama today that are unfilled for app design.
Really?
So we are busy. We are gearing up in a significant way. We've got 4 of our community colleges working with Apple to start it off, and then this spring of 18 we'll have 4 more, and by the fall of 18 all of our two-year colleges will be up and training. But the beautiful part about being trained, you don't have to go to a particular location, not a school, not a building. You can do it from your home, remote. So it's a wonderful way that people can get trained for 21st century jobs and get a job. And these jobs are paying $82,000 to $83,000 to start with.
Really?
In Alabama.
In Alabama, and you just need, what is it, a certificate, some kind of certification? Or what?
Well, it's a 2-year.
2-year.
They're sponsored by the 2-year colleges, and they will produce the curriculum and the program, and then citizens and students can take it, and upon completion, they can begin to do what they call computer coding, which leads to designing apps. And apps can help you solve a whole lot of problems, and it provides quality jobs, and our young people get turned on about it, and I'm excited to encourage our women, young ladies, to take advantage of this training, because that's an important STEM subject matter. So I just think it's a real great way, and it's just coincidental that we were doing that in Alabama at the same time we came to the NGA conference, and it's a nationwide program now, but we've already gotten it started. We're off and running, and all of our colleges in the Alabama Community College System are going to be engaged in this.
And apps, well, we happen to have an app too. It's called the iHeartRadio app, Governor. Do you have that one on your phone?
No, I don't.
All right, well,
maybe
might have to look into getting
it.
What is your favorite app, by the way? Just talking about apps.
I look at AL.com.
AL.com? All right, fair enough, Governor. This is a great conversation that we're having. Where in Alabama are you from?
Well, where I'm from and where I live might be two different things.
Okay.
I was born in L.A.
You were born in Los Angeles?
That's Lower Alabama.
Louisiana. Where?
No, Lower Alabama.
Lower Alabama, okay.
Wilcox County is where I grew up as a child.
Okay.
Down in Camden, Alabama, but I live in Montgomery.
Montgomery, okay.
I have for almost 30 years.
30, and what's your favorite part about living in Alabama?
Oh, the people of Alabama are so genuine, friendly. We are hardworking. We're determined people. We are patriotic. We have a lot of folks serving in the military.
Huh? Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras is good. It started in Mobile.
Did it really start in Mobile?
Yeah, that's where Iberville and Bienville started Mardi Gras in Mobile.
Wow.
Then they went to New Orleans.
Oh.
But out in Mobile, it's home for Mardi Gras.
Right.
So y'all come do business in Alabama because we're wide open for business, and it's a great day in Alabama.
All right, Governor Ivey. Well, thanks a lot for talking with us.
Thank you.
All right, L.A. You were born in Los Angeles? Louisiana? Joe Gomez could not comprehend L.A. being lower Alabama. So, but he's a young man. He's still making his way through life. Now, here's one thing. Now, Ariel, jump in real quick here. Because Kate Ivory told Joe Gomez that in the state of Alabama, there are 4,700 job openings for app design.
Really?
Did you have... Really? Have you heard this?
I haven't.
That there are 4,700 job openings right now in Alabama for app design.
Where are they?
This is news to me. I need to be the next one to talk to Kate Ivory to ask her about all this.
I'd like to ask Kate, too, like, exactly where are these jobs located? Burnt Corn, Alabama?
That's a
the rest of us don't seem to know about them.
That's a good question. We need to find, well, and who knows what she'll tell us. But 4,700 open jobs for app design in Alabama.
Yet somehow we don't know about it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Ariel had not heard it either. And Kate Ivory does not have the iHeartRadio app. We did learn that. There's more to come as we continue news, traffic, weather, all of that next on The Uncle Henry Show.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock futures are little change to higher ahead of a report on New York region manufacturing and earnings this afternoon from Netflix. The S&P 500 today begins at a new record of 2459 after rising 1.4% last week. The Dow starts at a record as well at 21,638, and the Nasdaq begins at 6312. This week, investors will watch for data on home construction, and it's a big week for earnings, including those from Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Microsoft, Visa, and Johnson & Johnson. If you want to save money on air travel, then you may find better luck purchasing each leg separately. Airlines Reporting Corporation, or ARC, which analyzes fare data, finds that the price drop is especially pronounced on leisure routes, with corporate travel seeing barely any change. But while one-way fares are increasingly popular, the firm warns that if you make changes to your trip, you risk incurring more than one change fee. Crude oil at $46.54 a barrel. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. If you need a chiropractor, let me introduce you to the doctors at Mobile Chiropractic Associates. And hello, Facebook. Good morning, Facebook. We're in the break. As you can tell, we're about to be going into traffic, weather, news from Darwin, and also news from Fox, sports from Fox. We have just a ton of information that is about to be thrust at the radio listener. So that is all coming up on the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710, WNTM and 99.5 FM, The Jag. Let's see, over the weekend, Ariel tried to go to the beach. I was very blessed to not do anything. It was truly wonderful. It was truly wonderful. Actually, I had to clean my house. It took me an entire day to clean my house because I move slowly. I'm a slow mover. All right, stand by. We're going to do weather and news, and I'll be jumping back on Facebook with you after we hear news together.
Time saver traffic. I'm Ray Romero.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Good Monday to you, everybody. It is going to be a soggy start to the work week. Our storm coverage today at 60%. If you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We'll top out today at 88 degrees. Lows will drop into the mid-70s. A few storms overnight. For your Tuesday, a high of 90 with a 50% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
Another case of flesh-eating bacteria. Good morning. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with this iHeartRadio News Update. A local teen has been hospitalized after contracting what's believed to be a flesh-eating bacteria, and if confirmed by health officials, it would be the 6th case of Vibrio vinificus in the Mobile Bay area this summer. 16-year-old Matthew Collier believes he came in contact with the bacteria after swimming with friends near Dauphin Island. Collier was taken to the hospital early Saturday morning after a cut on his hand began to blister and become painful. Doctors have not confirmed if Collier's case is the same flesh-eating bacteria as in the 5 confirmed cases, but tests have been taken. Of the 5, 3 have been attributed to exposure to water, while the other 2 were traced to raw seafood. This morning, law enforcement in Alabama and Florida are coming together to try to save your life on Gulf Coast highways. It's called Operation Southern Shield, and it's designed to reduce summertime wrecks and traffic deaths. Officers will be checking for a variety of violations, including not wearing seatbelts, drunk driving, and speeding. Officers in the states of Georgia and South Carolina are also taking part in the operation, which will run through Sunday. This past Friday, there was a Mardi Gras-style second line to bring attention to domestic violence. This coming Saturday, they'll also rally to stop the violence. Within the last 4 months, at least 4 women have been killed due to domestic violence in Mobile County. Organizers of the Stop the Violence campaign hope you'll join them this Saturday at Taylor Park on Baltimore Street. News breaks while you sleep, so when you wake, we'll catch you up on what's happening along the Gulf Coast and around the world every weekday morning on Local 15 Today. We start at 5 a.m. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton for this iHeart radio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. 9 people dead, 1 still missing after weekend flash floods in Gila County, Arizona, inside Tonto National Forest. Eyewitness Mandisa Alexander.
The water, it came, and when it came, it just instantly was just like up to your waist within a matter of seconds.
14 people swept down the river. 4 people survived. A vote on the Senate GOP health care reform bill not happening this week. Arizona Republican John McCain taking time out to recover from surgery.
The delay allows time to rally state support. Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn of Texas said on NBC's Meet the Press a special effort is underway
to accommodate the concerns of those states that expanded Medicaid under Obamacare and those that did not.
A Congressional Budget Office score on the bill was to be released this week. That has also been delayed.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Fox News. We report. You decide.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
Checking baseball, one interleague score where the Cubs shut out the Orioles 8-0 in his Chicago debut. Pitcher Jose Quintana tossed 7 shutout innings. Elijah's 3 hits, struck out 12 as Chicago gets the sweep of Baltimore. On the National League scoreboard, the Dodgers down the Marlins 3-2. That's 9 straight wins now for LA. They've swept 3 series in a row, and they're now a Major League best 64-29 in the season. The Nationals roll over the Reds 14-4 was the Phillies beating the Brewers 5-2. Milwaukee's lead atop the NL Central is at 4.5 games on Chicago. Braves beat the Diamondbacks 7-1. Atlanta sweeps the series from Arizona. Rockies roll over the Mets 13-4. The Pirates walk off with a 4-3 win over the Cardinals, and the Padres beat the Giants 7-1. In tennis, Roger Federer won his 8th Wimbledon men's title and 19th Grand Slam title overall. NASCAR Denny Hamlin won at New Hampshire.
Finding great people to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's time to try ZipRecruiter, where 80% of jobs get a qualified candidate in just one day. How? Using powerful technology, ZipRecruiter matches your job to the right candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/skill for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/skill.
If you've been waiting to buy a new RV, now is the time to go get one at RVs Unlimited. Here's Jeremy and Ed Strickler.
It is time for the 2018s already in the RV industry. They come out a little sooner than the cars do in the fall. So the 17.
Uncle Henry Show on Facebook. We're about to go back on the radio after a refreshment of news. Good morning to Nita Jeffers. I'm wearing a tie that was gifted to me by Nita Jeffers of Bay Minette, mother of Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com, who sent this beautiful. This is one of the nicest ties I've ever worn on the Uncle Henry Show. I don't know what the symbols mean on it. I hope there's not any weird symbolism from the symbols. But thank you to Nita Jeffers of Bay Minette. I understand that she's very excited. There's some new Dollar General that is open in her vicinity. All right, stand by. We go back to radio. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll have a live conversation with Joe Gomez, fresh off of his penetrating Kate Ivory interview. We'll ask him what's going on with health care, Donald Trump Jr., and all of that as he gets back in the swing of being the national correspondent for NBC. Meanwhile, good morning to you. Over the weekend, I understand a lot of people sat in traffic for a variety of reasons. There were some terrible accidents, very unfortunately. But also just the fact that we have too many vehicles that want to use the same roads at the same time, like the Causeway, the Bayway, etc., etc. Over the weekend, there was a forum in Robertsdale for the Republican candidates for Senate. 6 of the 10 showed up. And the question about what to do about that situation was brought up. And I didn't get to hear all the answers because I wasn't there. But Local 15 did show Mo Brooks, who's allegedly in the top 3 in the polls of the candidates. And his answer about building a bridge over the Mobile River is don't go to the federal government for the money. Don't go to the federal government for the money.
So you're not going to see the United States Senate or the House of Representatives building this bridge through a statutory mechanism because that's an earmark. And I don't want to go back to earmarks. What we did was we sent the money by and large to the states with some input from the President of the United States and the executive branch, USDOT. So to a very large degree, what we need to do if you want construction of road projects here in the Baldwin County, Mobile Bay area, is go to Montgomery and work on the governor of your state. And I'm more than happy to assist you in doing that. But please understand, we do not want Congress, the United States Senate, to be in a position again where our votes can be bought by the dangling of these little carrots so that we have big bills that do real bad things for the United States of America.
Okay. So his philosophy, kind of different. Our local leaders have gone to Washington and asked for the money, as had Bradley Byrne has also gone to Washington and asked for the money. But Mo Brooks says no, that you need to go to the governor, and he'll go with you. He says he'll assist us in asking Kate Ivory for the money for the bridge. So that means there will never be, it is a fantasy bridge that will never be built because Alabama's broke. From what I can tell, we cannot afford to do much of anything in Alabama. Just take a trip from here to Bryant-Denny Stadium, and you'll see the lack of infrastructure in the state. So, oh well, I guess we need to concentrate on flying cars, blimps, hang gliders, catapults, things like that to help us get across the bay.
Saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Mazda Traffic Center.
Light to moderate rainfall continues to move across the area. Most of it seems to be in the western part of our region. No big accidents or breakdowns for Bayway drivers so far this morning. If you're making the trip between the Eastern Shore and the Wallace Tunnel, I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw down to the I-10, moving along nicely there as well. We do have an accident on Highway 98 and Blackwell Nursery Road. A vehicle left abandoned in a ditch. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Good Monday to you, everybody. It is going to be a soggy start to the work week. Our storm coverage today at 60%. If you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We'll top out today at 88 degrees. Lows will drop into the mid-70s. A few storms overnight. For your Tuesday, a high of 90 with a 50% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. You can also watch on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Joe Gomez on what's going on with health care and Donald Trump Jr. The health care vote. John McCain, you may remember John McCain. You may have even voted for him or against him when he was running for president. He has had surgery. He had surgery Friday to have a blood clot removed, and his doctors have told him that he shouldn't travel. So he's not available to go and vote. And because he can't, it's so close. How close is it? How close is the health care vote? It's so close, they don't dare vote without him being there. That's how close it is. So they're going to postpone voting on health care, giving people another week or so to complain about it or not. Let's see, I do have an email. We'll get more into that with Joe Gomez coming up here in less than 10 minutes. Let me go to the email inbox. I do have an email that has come in from another listener that has gained consciousness. Subject line on the email is Roll Tide Unk. Email reads, good, beautiful Monday morning. That Joe Gomez and Kate Ivory conversation was something. I can translate what Mo Brooks said regarding the bridge. Forget it. And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Loxley, who adds, P.S. 47 days. My fellow Crimson Tide fanatic, Roll Tide Roll. Chris, thank you so much for your Roll Tides. I would like to return your Roll Tides. So here is one Roll Tide.
Roll Tide Roll.
And then here is another Roll Tide Roll.
Roll Tide Roll.
And then I'd like to add an additional, more luxurious Roll Tide.
Roll Tide Roll.
Thank you for the Roll Tides. Yes, Mo Brooks saying that we don't want, you shouldn't come to the, and a lot of us would agree with him philosophically if we weren't stuck in the traffic. If it weren't our bridge, if it were somebody else's bridge, let's say it was Nebraska, no offense to Nebraska, but if they wanted to build a bridge in Nebraska, we'd probably say, you're right, Mo Brooks. Tell them to build their own bridge. But here we are, and we're the ones stuck in traffic here, so it's a little harder. When you're the one that's stuck in traffic, it's a little harder to really, maybe you're better off than me, and you can stick with that philosophy and just decide to not go anywhere. But Mo Brooks was saying, don't come to the federal government, go to Montgomery. Montgomery will say, don't come to us, go to the federal government. So what that means is just, if you want to go to the beach, do it at midnight. Just you drive in shifts. Or maybe we'll have some mass transit. Monorail, All right, coming up, the young Joe Gomez.
Radio for real men.
Surprise, surprise.
The Rush Revolution rolls on. Weekdays at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
I'm always interested in finding ways to save money. And there's a Gulf Coast organization set up to help local homeowners like me and you save. It's a nonprofit called Smart Home America. They've got a website, smarthomeamerica.org. It's become a one-stop resource for homeowners who want to save money. For example, personally, I find shopping for homeowners insurance confusing, intimidating. I'm never sure I'm covered the way I should be. smarthomeamerica.org has a homeowners insurance buying guide to help. They also can teach you about re-roofing with a fortified roof. This is a roof that's safer. It can help you save on insurance and increase your property values. And smarthomeamerica.org also teaches about energy efficiency and more. Check it out yourself. The website is smarthomeamerica.org. Build a stronger home, save money, and get the right insurance. That's smarthomeamerica.org.
Okay, guys, are you ready for a revolution? Down below, I'm talking about Frigo underwear from revolutionwear.com. It's all about comfort and looking great. Revolution Wear totally reimagined men's underwear. It's the only brand to feature a mesh pouch and patented Frigo Zone ventilation to keep you cool, dry, and comfortable. They don't pinch, pull, or restrict. Plus, you'll get some nice double takes when wearing them. Try them for yourself. Buy Frigo online at revolutionwear.com. The revolution starts below.
Is old Bessie spending more time in the shop than on the road? Is she having a hard time keeping up with your buddies when she does get out? Do you feel more beaten than refreshed after riding? Now just might be the time to trade her in. Mobile Bay Harley-Davidson is offering you the same monthly payment when you trade your bike in towards a new one of the same model family. That's right. New Harley, same payments. Stop in to see them at 3260 Pleasant Valley Road. And remember, at Mobile Bay Harley, there's always a party.
Take care of your skin. See Dr. Thomas Bender at Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. Dr. Bender sees patients in Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. Find out more online at advanceddermclinic.com.
When was the last time you walked out of a mattress store feeling confident about your purchase? These places exist for one reason: for a highly trained, commission-driven salesperson to dupe you into spending way too much money on a mattress. Hi, my name is Neil, and I'm one of the co-founders of Casper. Casper was created with a single goal in mind: deliver a great night's sleep at an incredible value. So we hired a team of engineers and designers to develop a single perfect mattress that sleeps cool and has just the right sink and bounce. We sell the Casper mattress online, skipping the markups of mattress stores, and we let you try it out in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. In less than 3 years, we've rapidly become the internet's favorite mattress. In fact, it now has more than 20,000 reviews with an average of 4.8 stars. Try us out today.
Simply go to Casper.com and use code RESTED to get $50 towards your mattress purchase. Terms and conditions apply. That's gift code RESTED at Casper.com for $50 towards your mattress purchase. Casper.com. Thanks for checking us out.
Hey there, this is Dr. Vanessa Marie Perry, the host of the Love Right Unplugged podcast on iHeartRadio, where we interview the top relationship experts, coaches, matchmakers, therapists, and couples. The podcast provides advice, tips, and inspiration to singles and couples on how to develop and maintain a healthy relationship. Check us out weekly. Search for Love Right Unplugged on iHeartRadio.
710 Time Saver Traffic.
Light to moderate rainfall continues to move across the area. Most of it seems to be in the western part of our region. No big accidents or breakdowns for Bayway drivers so far this morning. If you're making the trip between the Eastern Shore and the Wallace Tunnel, I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw down to the I-10, moving along nicely there as well. We do have an accident on Highway 98 and Blackwell Nursery Road. A vehicle left abandoned in a ditch. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Good Monday to you, everybody. It is going to be a soggy start to the work week. Our storm coverage today at 60%. If you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We'll top out today at 88 degrees. Lows will drop into the mid-70s. A few storms overnight. For your Tuesday, a high of 90 with a 50% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. 99.5 FM, The Jag. I want to welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show, NBC News Radio national correspondent Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, we've already had you on this hour. About 30 minutes ago, I was sharing the interview you did with Alabama's Governor Kay Ivey. Did you interview all 32 governors?
No, it was close. I interviewed probably close to about 20. Actually, you can find it. Just go to if you have the iHeartRadio app, hashtag We the States. But it was about 20 or so governors that I ended up interviewing. Yeah. And
you asked her if she had our app, and she said she did not, which really I've got to work on that somehow and get her to. She talked about how in Alabama we've got all these jobs for people to code apps, but she does not have the iHeartRadio app. So
that's right. Governor Ivey was a very interesting interview, and she had on this bright white outfit. It was like this bright white pantsuit, which I had never seen before, and it was like made out of cotton. She looked like a character, but I don't know. I guess she wasn't very.
What do you mean, like a white pantsuit, like Colonel Sanders or something like that?
Why do I? I think I should probably. I'll post a picture on Facebook.
Please,
you can share it. I don't want to describe it, but anyway, so she was nice enough, but if you listen to the interview, she really tricked me up with her answer to where I asked where she was from, and she said Lower Alabama, and I said, or L.A.
Right.
I guess L.A. meant Lower Alabama, but I was confused.
Right. Well, that was my favorite part because you said Los Angeles, and then she said no, and then you said Louisiana, and she said no, and I could tell that you had never heard us. That's something we've been saying for many, many years here, Lower Alabama being L.A. But you're back in D.C.? Are you back there now?
I'm back in D.C., yeah. It was a long trip in Providence, but returned yesterday afternoon.
All right, well, Joe Gomez, health care. John McCain had to have some surgery. So what does this mean for this health care vote?
Well, I think it means that it's going to just be delayed indefinitely because you already have 2 no votes off the bat, Susan Collins of Maine, and then also Senator Rand Paul, 2 people on totally opposite sides of opposite ends of the spectrum, I should say, when you're talking about politics. And then John McCain had to have a 2-inch blood clot removed from above his eye, where they actually had to cut into his skull and take out the blood clot, which was, I guess, near or in his brain. They're not saying. And so who knows how long he's going to be out for, because that kind of surgery, McCain is 80 years old, can take a long time to recover from, and he could also have some lasting neurological damage, so he might not be able to speak as well, who knows. But he'd be not able to resume his duties, it sounds like, for at least a week, maybe longer.
Wow, okay, and it's that close that you have to have his vote. It's that close a vote.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Republicans in the Senate don't have, well, if they lose, they can afford to lose 2 votes because then Mike Pence can come in, the vice president, and play tiebreaker. But if they lose 3 votes, then the bill is dead on arrival, presuming that all Democrats are going to vote against it.
Okay. Well, so it'll be even more lengthy debate and discussion on that issue, something we've talked about for a long, long time. Now, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent, what about anything new on the Donald Trump Jr. situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's this thing where the story keeps on growing and taking different turns. We're learning more about the meeting with Trump Jr. For instance, the latest now is that there was apparently another person in that meeting who was with the Russian attorney that Trump Jr. met, and that person reportedly was a former Soviet-era spy, and he also allegedly has ties to Russian intelligence. And so you had President Trump's personal attorney coming out yesterday and saying, well, the Secret Service would have vetted anybody that was in this meeting, so how do we know that he's a spy? But then the Secret Service came out with a statement saying, no, we would not have vetted anybody because we weren't even providing protection to President Trump's extended family at that point. We only do that, 3 months before the general election. So it sounds like they just blew that defense out of the water.
So that if that's the case, that it was somebody that if it is who they say it is that was in the meeting, does that still mean anything will come of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it means that there's still a lot there that we don't know the whole truth about. And the problem with this story, with Trump Jr. and the whole Russia controversy to begin with, is just that there are so many new elements that are coming out about it. And even if it doesn't amount to anything, if it doesn't add to anything or result in any charges, just the fact that the administration and people have been so unclear about what has gone on in its entirety, I think makes people question the truthfulness of some of these people involved, and also gives Democrats a lot of ammunition, clearly.
No doubt. All right, well, look, Joe Gomez, thank you very much. Please post your picture of our governor so we can see what you're talking about.
By the way, I asked her if she listened to the Uncle Henry show, and her response off the mic was, she doesn't listen to a lot of radio.
Okay. Well, that does not surprise me at all. That does not surprise me at all. Joe Gomez, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
There he goes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent. Interviewing, and so I guess in Washington, D.C., women don't wear the type of pantsuit that Kay Ivey wore when Kay Ivey was interviewed by Joe Gomez. I'm sure that when I look at it, it's going to look like just be ordinary clothing to somebody like me. But it was a shock to a young resident of Washington, D.C. All right, we are going to take a listen to news, traffic, weather, all of that, and then move forward with more Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show.
When was the last time you walked out of a mattress store feeling confident about your purchase?